when you generally look at required run rates and you see a team who need around 90, 94, 95 in the back 10 overs, you probably assume the target to start with had been about 190, maybe 200. You've got to a certain stage and you've got that many runs left. The reality of the situation is in the first 10 overs, they've scored at less than a run a ball. And no, they haven't lost a heap of wickets. They've just lost 2. 59 is all they've managed under run a ball for the loss of those 2 wickets. Makeshift opener Baba Indrajit and regular opener Aaron Finch are the 2 who are back. Nitish Rana, Shreyas Iyer are the 2 who are in the middle, and they've picked up a boundary of the first ball of the 11th over. As we bring that up, let's join Pommie Mbangwa on Cricbuzz Comm Box. Pommie just got into the 60s somehow, run rate just 6+. What would you attribute their struggles in the first 10 overs?
First up, I've got to give credit to the bowlers. I think they've been really good at. We're talking about Bolt. He didn't take wickets, but what he managed to do was to hit a really good length and make it pretty difficult for them to get away. And in doing that, it effectively is kind of just heaped pressure on them. None for 14 is fantastic. It doesn't matter how you look at that. I mean, 4.66 and over with a side that's looking to try and start up pretty quickly and try and get ahead of the game in a score that we'd probably term as middling. It's probably a little better than that with the way that the wicket is playing. But then the backup from everybody else, I think, is what's impressive. So when we speak of a good bowling attack, and Rajasthan Royals have a good bowling attack, the thing is, sides don't get any respite. So you can't look at any holes anywhere and think, right, it's okay, we can play this one out because we can go after that one. And not having that means that you just get more and more pressure build up, and that's how you lose wickets. And at the same time, they lose wickets and they're going at a rate that's rather slow. So yeah, I think it's tough for Kolkata Knight Riders. They need somebody to play really well here.
Well, that one somebody could perhaps be Nitish Rana. You talk about pressure building up. Anytime you go into a kitchen and you feel a build-up of pressure when food is being cooked in a pressure cooker, the top comes off and suddenly you've got a flurry of smoke. In this case, you've had a flurry of boundaries. 4-6-4 after the 10th over when we started chatting. So they're trying to show some intent. They've obviously realized 59 is below where they should be. And if somebody had to pick up the cudgels, it's a good idea that it's Nitish Rana with Shreyas, the solid Shreyas at the other end.
Yeah, and done correctly with Shreyas, what is he, 27, 28, off around the same number of balls. If there's a risk that needs to be taken, it can't be the guy who's been there some time. He's the one who's going to kind of try and guide the ship as they go along. So this is where they were at 10 overs. 26 off 26 is what he had. You have a little chit chat about how do we go about this? We can't let the rate go up. And then it was going to approach 10s, needing 10s for the next half. It's too many. Got to try and bring it down. So Nitish Rana would be the one. Try and attack, see what they can do overs 11, 12, and 13. And if they manage to go on some sort of a run there, then perhaps they wrest some sort of control back into the game. But I think it's going to be tough because how they play the spin is the question. That's what's going to tell in the end.
Well, I'll answer the first part of your question. How they play the off spin. The answer is they've taken 16 runs of Ashwin. Now, the big question is the wrist spinner. What are they going to do? There's 3 overs of that magician called Yuzvendra Chahal to come. Ashwin's figures, you can rephrase that. 3 overs for 28. 2 overs for 12, 3 overs for 28. Now, Yuzi Chahal's 3 overs, is that the difference between Kolkata's 2 points and not?
Yeah, we'll find out. I think also the 1 over that Ashwin has is going to be important. So Chahal, Ashwin, I think that's the game right there, because if they can get through it somehow, having taken the first over of Ashwin for quite a few and sort of just build along and take another one somewhere along the line, then I think they'll be confident with the pace at the back end that even taking risks against it, they'll be able to come out on top. But game after game, these spinners, even if it's taking 1 wicket, they have a say in the game.
Yeah, and every time we bring up that big man, the muscle man sitting in the dugout, you know that if it's about pace, you can rely on him for getting a 40 of 19 balls. But spin is not his preference. And if he were to come in, or when he were to come in, we're probably thinking a couple of overs of Chahal still left. It's not ideal for him. So they don't want to rely on him. They want to try and see if they can get much of the job done by these two, maybe even Rinku Singh after this.
Yeah, I don't think you can sort of hang about and wait and leave a lot for somebody to do. I think each one's got to come out and do what's necessary in terms of plotting out how, just how many risks can we take against each guy, and what is a calculated risk, who's better set. Is it the lefty or the righty to go at the leg spinner or the off spinner? And if you kind of play that right, then you're going according to the percentages, and then you can perhaps, if you execute correctly, get yourself in a decent position, which means if and when Russell comes in at the back end, he doesn't have to do a double job. He just does what his job is and also goes according to percentage. And if he's going according to percentage, we know if it's not too many, he's able to clear the boundaries quite comfortably and should get them home. But it'd be a good game, I think.
Final thought from you, Pommie. The 16-run over from Ashwin. First blow from Shreyas Iyer in anger. He's jumped down and hit Yuzvendra Chahal into the 34th row of the third tier. So they've obviously decided that they could probably target both. Does that change your thought process from 59 after 10?
Not really. I think the reason it doesn't is because they had to do it. It means that they jump ahead slightly, but there's a lot to do still. And because you have a good bowling lineup, you might win this phase, but you must win the next phase as well. I think it's going to be a good game. I find it difficult to call which way it will go, but I think it'll be a nice tight one for us to watch.
Yeah, nice tight one to watch. There was somebody in the stands who had a bit of a placard that said, 171 days. I'm not sure the number what it was since the last super over we had. So is that a prep?
No.
I'm just saying.
Don't go there. Don't go there. I hope not.
I'm pretty sure neither of these teams would want to go there. Kolkata would want to finish it off, but at the moment, maybe they're starting to sneak ahead, but enough to come from Chahal, from Ashwin, and the rest of their bowling attack for Rajasthan. It's going to be a close one. We'll talk about it at the end.